Today I'm reacting to your wrestling hot takes. Hot takes is a weekly video series where I give you all a platform to be able to voice your thoughts, whether they're good thoughts or bad thoughts, all about the world of professional wrestling. So if you want to be featured in next week's hot takes video, make sure that you're following me on X. I ask for your hot take on there after every episode of Raw, SmackDown, and every WWE Premium Live event. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And if you want even more content, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/SantiZap, Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, podcast 3 days early, 5 Wrestling is Cool Match Club watch-alongs. There's a lot of extra content on there that will never appear on YouTube. Go check it out. All right, let's read your stupid shit. LA Knight's title reign has been excellent so far. I love the idea of an open challenge, so my hot take is this. Not just LA Knight, but Braun Breaker, Kalani Jordan, and Obafemi should have inter-brand open challenges. The winner can move to the brand of the title. I have been loving LA Knight's current run as the United States champion because it's just a breath of fresh air to actually have the champion there every single week. And it's clear that not only are we loving it from home, but people in the arena are as well, because this man gets the single biggest pop of the night every single week. And having the United States champion and subsequently the championship there every single week elevates not just the championship, but the entire division itself, because all of a sudden it means that mid-card feuds and mid-card matches actually matter. Those wins and losses that are happening in the mid-card can now actually lead to storylines for people for the United States Championship, which wasn't the case with Logan Paul because he would only appear every 3 to 4 months. So just the regular weekly matches in the mid-card never really elevated anyone to the point where they could take on Logan Paul for the United States Championship because he might be 2 or 3 months removed from actually appearing on Friday Night SmackDown. So yes, I'm with you. LA Knight's reign so far has been truly excellent, and I do kind of like what you're suggesting here of having more open challenges with the mid-card belts. We of course always romanticize how good the United States Championship Open Challenge was with John Cena, and I think that that is the magic that so many of us want to get back when we talk about open challenges. I don't want to see it overdone, but I would like to see it from time to time because it also gives us an excuse to maybe break down the barrier of the brand split at the very least for one night, so that people that only watch NXT can maybe experience somebody from Raw or SmackDown and vice versa. And it can also be a really simple and effective way to make somebody switch brands if you don't want to wait for the draft to happen once a year. So I like it. I just don't want it to be overdone every single week. The open challenge just like weekly schedule to me only worked when it was like somebody that was like Mount Rushmore level status like a John Cena. I'm honestly tired of seeing Jade and Bianca having 90% of the offense all the time. These tag matches feel like they're happening to give more and more screen time to them rather than elevating the division. Io and Kyrie matches are always so much better. I hate to be that guy, but you're kind of pointing out the obvious. Yes, they are the focal point of the division because they are by far, and it's not even close, the biggest names in that division. The next closest is Io Sky, and she still pales in comparison in terms of popularity and overall reach compared to somebody like Bianca Belair. And we're also talking about a Bianca Belair who already has the resume of a WWE Hall of Famer. It's not crazy to think about that she would be dominant. We're talking about somebody that was dominant in the main event of the entirety of the WWE. Of course, she's going to be dominant in the women's tag team division. And then you tack on a physical marvel like Jade Cargill, and all of a sudden it actually becomes unrealistic if they aren't dominant 90% of the time. I can understand perhaps the frustration behind this, but it's logical. It does make sense. They're the biggest names. They're the biggest women physically, the strongest in the division. I think it makes sense that they look dominant for the majority of the time. Plus, we know what the end goal here is. The end goal is for the WWE to try and make another one of those main event megastars out of Jade Cargill. And this is one of the ways to groom her to be able to become that, to be partnered with somebody that's already there in Bianca Belair, and by having her look dominant against the women that aren't part of that world of the WWE's main event scene. So again, I get the frustration, but I also think it's the most logical thing that they're doing right now in the women's tag team division. Triple H's biggest flaw as a booker is he thinks every storyline needs to be a 6-month or year-long build. Theory should have turned babyface months ago, and Woods or Kofi should have turned heel last week. I'm at the point where like, I just don't even know what to think anymore. I'll go some weeks thinking, yeah, man, Triple H takes way too long to deliver on anything. And then we'll get a show like SummerSlam where he finally delivers on these long storytelling beats. And then I'll be like, ah, damn it, I should have let Papa H cook. It was the same thing for WrestleMania 40. Oh man, we're taking so long for the XYZ storyline. Oh, look, WrestleMania 40 was amazing. We should have let Papa H cook all along. This is a cycle, a bitter cycle that we continue to put ourselves in. I think that Triple H has delivered more often than not. And does it take a while? Yeah, it does. But when it lands, god damn it, man, it lands. Have I wanted to see Theory and the Kofi/Woods turn happen already? Yeah, but I'm sure that they're going to come up with a better way and a better delivery mechanism that I'm not even thinking about right now. So, I mean, we kind of go back to the mantra of just let Papa H cook, I guess. How dare the SmackDown crowd disrespect the infamous Tonga Loa by chanting, "You can't wrestle." Yeah, it's very clear that these people do not understand class. They do not understand skill. They do not understand aura. This man has an infinite amount of all of those things, and you want to sit there and disrespect this man who's been wrestling nerfed with one eye this entire time, giving you banger after banger after banger, a guy who could be world champion, who could be the head of the table, but allows those around him to take those accolades instead. That man not only is one of the best WWE superstars right now, but clearly he is a humble individual. Please learn to respect the infamous Tonga Loa. Having a championship match on SmackDown before an international PLE is no different from being on the PLE card itself. This is actually a really optimistic way to look at things because you're kind of right. I do still think that being left off the PLE is still being left off of the PLE, but it's still a special, once in a blue moon type of crowd that you're being put in front of. So I totally get where your mentality is at. And they are clearly building this SmackDown to be almost like a mini PLE with the matches that they're already advertising on there, the LA Night Open challenge that's going to be happening there. So I do totally understand your brain wavelength with this thought. I still think that being left off the PLE is being left off the PLE. But yes, that crowd on SmackDown the night before that international PLE is more often than not like super special and does feel elevated than compared to like a regular episode of SmackDown and Raw. Pretty Deadly is such an amazing pairing with Tiffany Stratton. I hope we continue to see more of them together. They're truly perfect. This is a perfect faction, by the way. Call them the Queen's Court, whatever it is that you want to call them. I want to see more Nia Jax, Pretty Deadly, and Tiffany Stratton. The shenanigans that these four could get into, the back and forth, the power dynamics that we have in here, the fact that the briefcase is looming around the back of the actual champion. It's all really fascinating and could lead not just to a really fun group with fun storylines that could, make people laugh at home, but could actually lead to some very serious heartbreak when this hilarious group inevitably implodes because of Tiffany Stratton. So I want to see more of this. It's totally time for Montez Ford to be put in a solo run. He deserves that run and is good enough to hold gold or even fight for singles gold. Ford versus Knight for the US Championship is PLE worth 100% and we need it. I'm just going to say it again. I said it last week. We're back to talking about singles run Montez Ford, and that is a good thing. It's been too damn long since this conversation has actually been part of the narrative that WWE fans have online. We're back to having it because we're being quickly reminded of how goddamn good Montez Ford is. That being said, I don't want to take away anything from Dawkins because he's also unbelievably good. I would like at some point before the end of 2025, I'm not saying that it needs to be a full-fledged run, but give Montez Ford one opportunity, one feud to try and impress everyone around the world, to impress WWE brass as a single superstar without fully breaking him up from the Street Profits. Just give him one PLE cycle feud and let him take the ball and let's see if he runs with it or he drowns. Today's episode is brought to you by Turtle Beach, the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. Their new Gen 3 Stealth 600 headset picks up so much crystal clear sound that I swear I heard a guy scratch his nuts on the other side of the map. You'll hear hear every footstep, every reload, every enemy sneaking up on you like they're stomping through your living room in tap dancing shoes, everything. Legitimately, they've been my go-to headset for gaming dating as far back as like 2009 in the MW2 days, but they're also my go-to for working and editing and long streaming sessions. Not just because of their high quality of sound, but their overall comfort. To me specifically, considering this is my job, that's incredibly important to have the headset feel like a soft pillow around your head. What's also nice is Turtle Beach has the Stealth 600 model, these bad boys right here, which are for PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, including cross compatibility and Bluetooth. So that means one headset for all of your systems. So I can easily go from working on my PC, doing some boring editing, to ripping on my PS5 if I wanted to. They're also like the only wireless headsets that I've used that doesn't die after 12 hours. These bad boys right here, the Stealth 600s, they go up to like 80 hours. Whether you're a casual gamer or you're one of those fellas that hasn't touched grass in weeks, Turtle Beach is the right headset for you. So folks, get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. For a limited time only, head to turtlebeach.com and use code Santi for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off of your entire order when you use code Santi at turtlebeach.com. Thank you to Turtle Beach for sponsoring this video. Now back to the video. At this point, I'm convinced A-Town Down Under gets booked better than DIY, and I'm not sure when they'll ever pull this theory face turn. Look, they are booking A-Town Down Under really like well at the moment. Not only are they getting all of these main event spots with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens for multiple weeks in a row, but now that theory face turn went from something that was going to be strictly in the mid-card, with it just being alluded to with DIY and with Grayson Waller himself, to something that in the blink of an eye has now been elevated to a main event status story beat because Cody Rhodes pointed it out. And now that Cody Rhodes has his vision on a potential babyface theory, now babyface theory all of a sudden becomes the conversation of a main event spot as opposed to somebody in the mid card. Tonga Loa is miles better than Tama Tonga. Tonga Loa is an icon. Everybody talks about him, laughs at him. He even has his own chant now, quote, "You can't wrestle." No one talks about Tama Tonga. Tonga Loa is a future megastar. Tama Tonga will be working at Wendy's. That's it. I just wanted to read that. If Kevin Owens doesn't turn heel at Bash in Berlin, I will have lost all faith in everything he does going forward as a face. Love the guy, but something's got to give, unfortunately. Look, we were all calling for an AJ Styles heel turn as well during his feud with Cody Rhodes, and it didn't happen after the match after Backlash in France. It happened a little while later as they were building up to Clash at the Castle. So it doesn't have to be immediately at the show Bash in Berlin. They could still, and it is Triple H's mantra, to allow things to simmer and get to a boiling point. He clearly is not the guy to just give us the instant satisfaction that we might be looking for as wrestling fans, because he feels like there is a better way to tell this narrative to elevate everyone. And I think because of that mentality, the AJ Styles heel turn, although they really didn't do anything with it in the super long run, I do think that it hit so much harder rather than him just attacking him after Backlash. The fake retirement angle was amazing. So even if Kevin Owens doesn't turn heel at Bash in Berlin, I still got hopes that it's going to happen somewhere else down the line. I think where it makes the most sense is if at some point Cody Rhodes aligns himself with Roman Reigns. That would absolutely be a justified reason for Kevin Owens to turn heel. SmackDown doesn't need to be 3 hours. They proved that this week that they can showcase the main event, mid-card women's, and both the men's and women's tag team divisions in a 2-hour show. The show felt fast-paced and was a nice surprise from previous weeks. 1000%. Now, I do still think that there would be a huge benefit from a 3-hour show, but I've been saying all along that SmackDown's problem wasn't that it was 2 hours. It's that it constantly felt like it was underbooked. It constantly felt like one or two divisions were being left out. And they've now proven, just like they've been proven with NXT all along, that they can book a really full, really meaty 2-hour show. And if they can do that now in 2 hours, I think that they could put on a fantastic show for 3. So I'm with you. I've never believed that it needed to be 3 hours. I do think that the benefit is there. But if they continue down this route where the major problems of booking a 2-hour show are actually fixed, then I feel more comfortable with them going to 3 hours and actually making it worth it. Solo has improved so much in this quote tribal chief role. His promos get better every week and he's a heat magnet. Yo, I'm actually feeling this way as well, and I'm curious if it is Solo getting better every week, or maybe it's because Roman Reigns is actually back and the cat is out of the bag and we know what an original tribal chief looks like next to the Temu tribal chief. And because now we've actually gotten a taste of the real tribal chief in Roman Reigns, the guy that we want to root for, the guy that I firmly believe is now the biggest babyface in all of professional wrestling, now we really want to boost Solo Sikoa because we know he's not him. We know he's not that guy. We know he's not the OTC. And I think that is part of the reason why he's become such an awesome heat magnet over the last couple of weeks, because he's not Roman and we've seen them in the ring together and we know that one is much better than the other. His promos, however, I do agree are getting better every single week. He's just getting more believable and clearly more comfortable in the role. WWE are taking way too long to turn Theory face. The interest has certainly went down, well, for me anyway. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised when Theory actually turns face, and I think that you're going to like the fact that it's going to land him in the main event. We've talked about this already, but now that Cody Rhodes is involved in this potential Austin Theory babyface turn, it's changed everything. Like, Cody Rhodes just has so much more pull to make something feel more special as a story beat than DIY ever did. I love Johnny Gargano, I love Tommaso Ciampa, but if they're the ones trying to goad this babyface turn versus Cody Rhodes, if Cody Rhodes is doing it, then all of a sudden we're talking main event. So I think the wait is going to be worth it, not just for us as fans, but actually for Austin Theory himself, because I think he's going to land in a better spot in the card because of it. They nerfed Tonga Loa by removing his eye patch. I know. Dude, it's funny, you know, like, I can meme, but he did lose some more. I like, let's be honest, like, the fact that he was wearing the eye patch made him unique, made him different, made him stand out. Without the eye patch, he's just a dude that we know isn't very good, but at least with the eye patch, at least we could say, yeah, he's wearing an eye patch. Tonga Loa should have never lost the eye patch. It's like The Undertaker losing his streak. You're right. It's exactly the same, identical, no difference. I literally cannot see any difference whatsoever. My hot take is Cody should turn heel on KO, not the other way around. I don't need Cody / Rock. I need the best story for the champion, and Cody going Homelander would cook. I don't think that this would happen, but look, I think you're objectively right about Homelander Cody Rhodes. We've seen heel Cody Rhodes when he left the WWE in the Indies in New Japan and Ring of Honor and TNA, and he was truly fantastic. That's how the moniker of the American Nightmare came about. That's not a particularly very good babyface moniker. That came about when he was a heel in the Indies. Don't get me wrong, I want Cody versus Rock. You and I do not agree there. That is, to me, one of those like major wrestling matches that needs to happen within the next 12 months. So we are not in agreement there. We are in agreement that I think that a Cody heel turn would be very good, very fascinating, very interesting, but I don't think that it's going to happen. I really don't know how they could make it make sense in this current landscape and storyline and trajectory that he's going towards, which is clearly him versus the final boss. It's gonna Bloodline rules, you know the rest. Having Kevin Owens almost turn on Cody was absolutely amazing. Great way to get the crowd up and ready for his heel turn. Wasn't that good? Like, everyone, I could tell, collectively gasped at that moment when Kevin Owens stormed at Cody Rhodes when Cody's back was turned with the title. Dude, what a brilliant psych out. And the way that Cody was like clutching his title, like almost like, oh my heavens, oh, clutching my pearls. It was so good from everyone. Everyone delivered it so well. It was a good psych out. Well done. Triple H has been booking the tag division great the last 3 weeks. Yes, he has on SmackDown, not so much on Monday Night Raw, but let's keep this train going. The SmackDown tag team division has been great the last couple of weeks. Now we just need to bring that energy right over to Monday Night Raw, where the tag team division has been kind of just floundering and just hanging about. Not only SmackDown, NXT's tag team division has been truly fantastic the last couple of weeks. So we're almost finishing this puzzle. Just fix the Raw tag team division, give it more tender love and care, and we're back to the tag team glory days. And we're back to actually being able to justify these titles being split in the first place at WrestleMania 40. Tonga Loa winning his first championship in WWE via the Freebird rule explicitly for Heat is so on brand for him. It's so good. It's so good that Tonga Loa has so much respect and so much aura that this man doesn't even need to win championships. We have this guy calling himself the tribal chief. He's giving Tonga Loa championships because he knows in the back of his mind, he knows that in his heart of hearts, that if Tonga Loa wanted to be the tribal chief, he could take that Ulafala right from Solo Sikoa's neck. So Solo is keeping him at bay by awarding him championships that were always rightfully his. All right, folks, that's it for Hot Takes this week. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for submitting them. I'll see you in the next video. Get out of here. Go.